Hi, my name is Hui Sin. I'm turning 46 years old this year. I'm married. I have a daughter who is 13 years old. I was born and grew up in Klang from a very simple yet loving family. I'm working and my job is a reinsurance broker. Over the years, myself, I've heard of many people telling me, their friends, their family who had cancer. So to me, I'm just a listener. Talking about my own experience, my father had prostate cancer, and that was about 13, 14 years ago. And he's the only one in the family who's close to me who had cancer, and that's it. Over the years, I pick up bits and pieces about cancer from media, whether online or published materials. But personally, I did not really pay much attention to it, except perhaps had a very quick read, and that's about it. I guess because you were not in that situation, so that piece of information didn't really grasp much of my attention. And apart from the media, you will be hearing from the friends around, telling me, sharing with me, their friends or family who had diagnosed with cancer. The first symptom that triggered me to go and see a doctor before I was diagnosed cancer, it was in year 2022, a week before Chinese New Year. My left ear was blocked, it was muffled. So I thought that the water went in because I swim a lot. It lasts for about a week, and eventually I decided to go and see a doctor because Chinese New Year was in another day or two, so I thought that better go and see a doctor, otherwise when I talk to people, it's quite annoying. So I went to see a GP. The GP checked, and because he's not a specialist, not ENT, right? He doesn't have a proper utensil to check, so he just used the most basic one and checked on me. He said, the tube looks fine. Perhaps the inner tube inside was trapped with air. It caused the imbalance. So he prescribed me with antibiotic. He asked me to take it. If no improvement or if it got worsened, go and see an ENT. So I took it, and it popped. Everything went back to normal. So I thought everything was okay. And then after Chinese New Year, the time it was still during MCO, still midway of it, so the world is not really lifted up yet. So I was still working from home. And I started to realize that I had a very tense neck. It's not pain, just very tense. So while I was working, I was constantly massaging my neck. And a few weeks later, luckily, yes, I would say very lucky, because I actually felt a lump, quite a big lump behind my ear. So that's where it prompted me to go and see an ENT, and I did that. And inside the ENT clinic, I was told that it's not my ear, it's actually my nose. I remember when I was at the ENT clinic, when she told me that from what she saw from the scope, my nose doesn't look right, which I can see from the screen myself as well. Yes, it doesn't look right. And she said that she has to do a biopsy because from her experience, it is not a very pleasant thing, which I asked her what could have happened based on what she observed, and she told me it could be cancer. So at that point of time, my heart sank, because I did not think that it was that serious. I just thought that I had a very nasty ear infection that lead to a swallow lymph node. So when she told me that, yes, my heart sank, but we proceeded with biopsies, and she asked me to go to arrange an MRI, which I did as well. Before I go and do MRI, I was hoping that it's not cancer. I pray very hard, and yes, I was hoping it's not cancer. It just could be something else. But at the back of my mind, in a way, I think I also told myself, you better prepare for it if it's cancer. So, yes, I was worried, very, very worried, but I shared it with my husband, my daughter, just to prompt them. Yes, after an ENT visit, I shared with my husband, I shared with my daughter what the doctor told me, what I need to do, the biopsies and the MRI, and just to get them ready. So that 1 week while waiting for the report was a very long week for all of us. On the day to see a doctor to collect my report, my husband insists to come with me. I didn't want him to come with me. I wanted to go on my own, but he insisted, so I let him. And we went together to the hospital. We waited, and finally it reached our turn. We went in, we sat down, and the doctor said, "I'm sorry, it's cancer." When I heard that, I was very calm. I guess the past 1 week of waiting, despite praying and hoping that it's not cancer, somehow I prepared myself for the worst. And yes, on that day, I remember it was a Friday morning when I sat down there receiving the news, I was actually very, very calm. In fact, my husband was very stressed. He actually cried after that because of his mother passed away because of cancer. So the moment that he found that I had cancer, that traumatized him quite a fair bit. And I had to comfort him. I was very calm throughout the consultation with the doctor. I asked her, what should I do next? Possibility of things that could happen. And then she suggested that I should go and see an oncologist as soon as possible, get the right treatment, because she's just an ENT, she's not in the right position to advise me. But she shared with some of her experiences from some of the patients with me, and that's it. The whole visit with the doctor, very calm, no tears shed. Then I remember that on the way back home, I actually cried a bit in the car because I don't know how am I going to tell my daughter. My daughter was only 10, not even 11 then. It breaks my heart so much that I have to tell her that her mother is diagnosed with cancer. So that saddened me a lot. So I cried in the car, also because I don't want to cry in front of her when I see her later. So I cried in the car, I let go of my emotion, I went back home, and she rushed, she said, "How's it, Mommy?" So I look at her, I say, "It's cancer." She was very sad. She wanted to cry, but she didn't. So I just hugged her, we hugged each other, and I told her that it's okay, what happened already. Let's find a solution. Mommy want to heal myself, and Mommy will be healed. And she acknowledged it. Then she went back to her room. Probably she doesn't want to cry in front of me as well. And the day I called up my brothers and a few of my very close friends to inform them that I'm diagnosed with cancer. I find it the hardest to break the news to my parents. I didn't want to inform them through call. I wanted to tell them in person. So I didn't tell them immediately. And because my parents still stay in Klang and I'm staying in KL. So I remember, I think I waited for about a week plus after I was diagnosed, and I went back to Klang to see them, and I called my two brothers to go home with me. So we all went back, we had our meal together, and after meal we sat down, we just chat about the moon, the sun, the weather, and then out of the blue, I told my parents, I said, Pharma, I got things to tell you. And that's where I told them I have cancer. My dad was quite calm, but my mom, she was very, very sad, which I expected it. And I think it actually took her quite a few weeks for her to finally accept that her daughter has cancer. It was quite tough on her. And even throughout my treatment, I can see that it really traumatized her a lot as well. So yeah, breaking news to my parents and letting them go through a journey with me was quite tough. I didn't think, why me? I know quite a number of people, when they found out that they have cancer, they ask, why me? But for me, no, I didn't think of that. I didn't think why me. For me, it happened. It's just part of life. Just something very bad happened to me, and that's it. I want to move on. For me, the question is, how can I heal myself? That's a question that comes to me, not why me. I went to see 4 oncologists. To me, it's not about seeking second opinion, but rather deciding which oncologist, which hospital that I eventually decide to go with for my treatment. I think the report, the biopsy report, the MR report is very clear that I have a very big tumor, a field in my brain already. So I don't think I need to seek another second opinion. So yes, I went around to see 4 different oncologists, just want to make sure that the treatments that recommended by them is consistent. And true enough, all the 4 oncologists, they advised me on the same treatments. So eventually, I go with the one that I feel most comfortable with based on the experience and the hospital itself. So I saw 4 oncologists, and 4 oncologists recommended me or told me the treatments I need to go through, which are 3 cycles of chemotherapy, followed with 33 times of radiotherapy. When I eventually decided which oncologist, which hospital that I will go with, and my doctor, he shared with me more about what I need to be prepared, to prepare myself for the up-and-coming treatment. So he told me that radiotherapy is more bearable for cancer patients like me with NPC cancer. The toughest one will be radiotherapy, that it comes with the excruciating pain, to the extent that one of his patients actually told him that towards the end of radiotherapy is like chewing glass, swallowing glass. So I remember that's what he told me. But I guess before I started the treatment, despite hearing this from the doctor, despite hearing from other NPC cancer who have gone through the treatment, they shared me the same thing. Although what should I say it? Yes, in a way, I know it's going to be very tough, but I don't think that there's anything that could prepare myself for that pain until I finally go through it myself. So end of March 2022, I started with my chemotherapy, 3 cycles. First cycle of chemotherapy, it was okay. I was tired. My body had some reaction. I had a breakout on my legs, so it was very itchy. But it only lasted on the first cycle. Second cycle and third cycle, it did not happen. So it was quite bearable. I remember that throughout the chemotherapy, what I experienced was just tired on the day of the chemo, and sometimes 1 or 2 days after the chemo. I was tired most of the time. I sleep a lot. I took a lot of nap, but that's it. physically after that, I will bounce back. I still can go out to meet client for lunch, coffee. I still can do that. And yes, my immune system was lower because every time before the chemotherapy, I had to do a blood test to make sure the blood counts are all right. They were a few cycles interrupted because my white blood cells were too low. But other than that, nothing major. Then comes the radiotherapy. That's where all the pain started. The pain didn't happen on the first day. So as I mentioned, I had to do 33 times of radiotherapy, all in about 6.5 weeks. The first 3 weeks, it went by, it was okay, nothing happened. And then after 3 weeks, I started to have sore throat. When the sore throat happened, it felt like a normal sore throat, but it wasn't day by day, to the extent that even when I drink water, when I yawn, when I sneeze, the pain just stretched to my lung. It was so painful. I didn't want to take painkiller at first, but it became so unbearable that I actually told the doctor, please give me painkiller. And I did. In fact, towards the end, the doctor gave me morphine just to stand by, but I didn't take the morphine. I just continued my painkiller. And it's not just about the pain on the throat. I couldn't eat, not because I don't have appetite to eat. I just couldn't swallow solid food. My whole esophagus became narrow. It was blocked. Solid food just couldn't get in. So I was on liquid diet for about 3 or 4 weeks. And I lost my voice towards the end. I couldn't speak. And of course my whole neck, towards the end, the skin on the neck area started to have this blister, and it's like a burn, very serious burn. And yeah, to an extent it's like a serious burn, serious blister, and you can just see the flesh coming out, and I can't turn my head, it's just so painful, but the radiotherapy had to go on. The doctor can't stop it. I just have to bear with all the pain and go through it. There are other symptoms like dropping hair, but it's not the whole head, just at the bottom line, so that is quite minor, nothing really affect me. So the worst is the pain and the burn on the neck. After the treatment, I started to experience side effects, even until now. I finished my treatment in September 2022. As at now, September 2024, 2 years already, I still have these side effects. And I've learned from other patients that some of the side effects, even the doctor told me that some of the side effects might follow me for life, and I've accepted the fact. So, what are the side effects? I have hypothyroidism since I finished my treatment, because the radiotherapy basically just damaged my thyroid gland. So I'm on medication every day. I have to take that. My mouth is constantly dry. It improved a little bit. It's not as dry as during the treatment or the first few months post-treatment, but it's still dry. So I have to constantly look out for water. I have a very sensitive nose and ear. My nose will produce excessive mucus when it's triggered by heat or spicy food. And heat is for my left nostril. When it's too hot, when I exercise, then my left nostril will produce a lot of mucus, like running nose non-stop. And my right will be triggered by spicy food. And what else? Yeah, my ear. I had a very nasty ear infection a few months ago because I have a flu that triggered that. And nowadays, every time I fly, the altitude will make the air trap inside, right? So those days, the moment that the plane landed, the air will come up just about. But nowadays, it could take me a few days. Just a bit here and there. I know my body is no longer the same, but to me, in a way, they are not disruptive, they are not major, you know, it's there, but they are there, but they are not really affecting me in a major way. Life still goes on. I can accept that. It comes with price. I mean, this is the price I have to pay, and I accepted it. On the very last day of my radiotherapy, after I finished the treatment, as I walked out from the room, I was very, very relieved that I finally completed it. I look back, I don't even know how I managed to do it. And I remember on the day itself, I was allowed to bring back the mask, because during radiotherapy we have to wear a mask, and we were actually given a mask to bring home. Until today, the mask is still sitting on top of the shelf on my working room. And occasionally, as I look back, as I look up, look at the mask, it just it reminds me of the treatment days. I'm just very thankful that it was over. My husband and my daughter are mostly affected by me throughout the treatment since we lived together. They saw me go through the pain, and yet they can't help me. But I'm very grateful to my husband, because I remember throughout the treatment, he was just there for me throughout the period. Every morning before I go to the hospital, he would look at me, he prayed for me, and then every night he would sit next to the bed. He held my hand and he told me that you can do it, you're going to make it. And because towards the end of the radiotherapy, because of the pain, I couldn't talk, and constantly fighting for pain, I was very quiet. I couldn't care much about my daughter or other people. It's not because of what I don't care, I just don't have the energy to care. Just constantly attending to myself, fighting the pain. So he was very good at trying to lift up the spirit in the house. I remember that every day when he came up from work, he opened the door, he would just greet all of us in a very cheerful way, like, you know, hello, Crew family, how's my Crew family doing today? Yeah, that's very nice of him. He tried his best to lift up the spirit, especially for my daughter, who turned 11 that time. And my daughter, she will also hold my hand and look at me, give me a hug. And that's all that matters to me. I know that it affected them, and they are trying not to show how worried they were with my condition, and they just marched through with me quietly. And to me, that means a lot to me. And my mom, the plan was actually for her to come and stay with me during the radiotherapy so that she can take care of me. But when the pain started to hit me, I decided it's best that she doesn't come and see how I suffer. So yeah, I told her that I can take care of myself. And I can't call them, I can only text them because I don't have a voice phone, so I just text them. And every time she texts me, I'll just say I'm good, I'm fine. Because I know how much she worried for me. And I only shared with her about my experience and what happened to me after treatment. After the treatment, after I recovered and got voice to talk, only I called her. I remember after the treatment and I rested for a week plus, when I finally resumed my voice, I called her after weeks. She was very happy. She cried. Yeah, so I told her what happened during treatment, and she cried. She felt that she should be there for me, but I just want her to see me like what I went through because I know how heartbroken she would be. So I think that would be the best arrangement for her. But I know that they constantly pray for me during the period, and I'm very grateful for my parents and my two brothers as well. I'm a Christian. I believe in God, and God is the only one that uphold me, sustain me throughout the journey. Without Him, I'm not sure how I could finish the treatment because it was such a tough journey. So I remember earlier on I mentioned that when I first received the news that I was diagnosed with cancer, I was very calm at the doctor's clinic. I didn't ask why. And then I remember the next day, during my morning quiet time, as always, I actually asked God, why you let it happen to me, in the sense that I know sometimes God let certain things happen in certain people's life just to remind these people about His presence. But I told God, I didn't forget you. In fact, I got closer to you because of the past few years, incidents happened in my life, and also MCO. You don't have to remind me of your presence. And why are you doing this to me? And immediately, I broke down crying uncontrollably without me realizing why. I don't even know why I cried so hard. I cried, and when I finally calmed down, I said one thing out, even without me thinking as well. I said it, God, for good and bad, I will remain faithful. That's the first decision I made, and I told God. And that, despite that, I was very calm at the doctor's office receiving the news. But the next day, the cry, the prayers, it made me even more calm, more sure. No question asked. I just want to be healed. And then I started my treatment, my chemotherapy. And then I started to have doubt again. I prayed to God. I said, God, please heal me. I want to be healed. But at the back of my mind, also there is this question. How if God wants to take me home earlier? Yeah, I want to live, but how if He has a different plan for me? He wants to take me home earlier. So I have this fear at the back of my mind. And God is so kind. He actually sent a couple to me to share about their story. It's actually my sister-in-law's friends. And this couple called Tony and Ashley Lau. Tony, he was diagnosed with the same cancer as mine many, many years ago, and he had a miraculous healing. So he came to see me, share with me his story, which was very moving. And by the end of the sharing, I told him, I said, Tony, thanks for sharing. That really comforts me. But at the same time, I also told him, I said, they are also believers themselves. So I told him, I said, I want to be healed, and I'll be praying for healing. But how if God has other plan for me? And Tony told me that, Christine, have faith in God. The fact that He sent me here today to share this with you is He wants you to know that He will heal you. God healed me, and He will heal you. That is another confirmation in my healing journey that gives me the comfort and confidence to go on. And then it comes the radiotherapy, which I shared earlier. It was a very, very tough treatment. I've always been quite a tough person, yeah, and I can endure quite a lot of things, but during the treatment, the pain was so intense, I wasn't sure if I can finish it. I remember one morning I woke up, I looked at myself in the mirror, and I asked myself if I can really finish it, because I still had another 2 weeks, 3 weeks to go, and already I was feeling that pain that I don't even know how to go on. But God reminded me. He reminded me that I can do all things through Him who gives me the strength. And He is faithful. He will watch over me. And since then, for the next 2-3 weeks, every morning I woke up, I look myself in the mirror as I get ready for the hospital visit. I told myself, God will be with me, and God will give me the strength to go through every morning. And because of that, because of this verse in the Bible that says, He will strengthen me, and it kept me going, and I finished the treatment. And on the very last day of my treatment, I finished it. I went back home. Looking back, I actually wonder, how did I complete the treatment? To me, it was a miracle, but I know that it's because of God I managed to do it. So, all glory to God. I have a very good and supportive boss. I work with my current boss since year 2009. So, as of today, is 14, 15 years. So, over the years, we have developed that trust, that relationship, that we are no longer just colleagues, but we are like family to each other. So before I found that I had cancer, I shared with him that my visit to ENT and what the ENT said, everything. So he knew it, and he was also one of the first few person that I shared with that I had cancer right after I received the news. My boss is very supportive throughout the treatment. Other than my husband, my boss was the only one who knew of my treatment schedule. He knew which day I'm going for my chemo. So on the day itself, when I come back, he'll normally drop me a text just to check how am I. Then if nothing urgent, he'll say, go and have a nap. And if anything, I'll text you. And even towards the end of radiotherapy, when I lost my voice, I can't join meetings. He covered all the meetings for me. We just keep each other updated through with the WhatsApp messages. And if it's anything urgent that he need me to attend to, then he'll let me know, just to cautious me. But other than that, I have a lot of support from my boss, which I am very, very grateful. I know I'm one lucky person. And even not just my boss, even my company, they knew about my situation as well. I shared with them. The team, I have a very understanding and supportive team members who understand the situation, and throughout the treatments, all of them, they actually help, whether in any capacity that I wasn't fit to contribute back then, and they helped to relieve me that time. So I am very lucky. My perspective in life, it does change after the whole journey. I tell myself and I tell people around me, nothing is more important than you yourself. Regardless how busy work is, how busy life is, you come first. If something is not right, you attend to yourself first, not the work, not the people around you. So yes, that's how I've changed. I look at myself now, I put myself as priority, as the top list instead of everyone else. I still love my husband dearly, my daughter dearly, they are so important to me. But there are times that I know that I come first before them. Because if I don't take care of myself, if I'm not in the right state, I can't love them. So likewise, I told all my friends and family the same. You come first before everyone else. I think the biggest fear all cancer patients have is relapse, the recurrence of cancer. And me myself the same thing as well. That fears me the most. I pray every day that that's it. What I went through, that's it, and it won't happen again. Having fear is one thing. I guess it's part of human being, you have the kind of fear, but it's nothing that I can control. So I can only do what is within my control by eating right, exercise, trying to lead a healthy lifestyle, and leave the rest to God. Like what they say, I do the possible and I leave the impossible to God, and it will continue to be what I'm going to do. My family are the main reason why I want to live well. I want to be healed. My husband, my daughter, my parents. But the most important person is my daughter. She was only 10 when I was diagnosed. I want to see her grow up. I want to see her grow up and perhaps one day to have her own family. Perhaps until such time I'm ready to go, but not now. And I want to take care of my parents. And I want to see the world. The world is so big. I want to go out there and see the world. And so much things that I can do, I want to do. So these are the reasons that really make me hang in there and go through everything.